There it is.
Live.
Will never show your pancreas.
And also.
I
graduated in
Yeah.
1978.
Drops.
You weren't even born.
Yes, I was 73.
Okay.
I was 5.
Nice kids. Recording in progress. No, we should.
Done. It's 6:30. I want to welcome you to our meeting. It's coming for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to thank you all for joining us this evening. There's a sign-in sheet here. If you haven't put your name on it, we'd appreciate it. And anyone on the Zoom call, the Zoom video, if you could identify yourself if you want to speak, just so we know who's here. So our first order of business is approval of the minutes from March 18th, 2026 Select Board meeting. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any comments, changes?
I got none.
I have two, one minor, if I can find one, I'll have my note on here. On page 7, line 3, the sentence that Sean said it's their newspapers. I think it's just newspaper, not plural. There. You would like to request an addition to the minutes. Find that is on page 7, line 26. It says the motion carried. I'd like to add 4 votes in favor with Lee abstaining, if everybody's okay with that.
Okay. I also have a typo on page 8 of 9, line 18. There are 2 ones at the end of that sentence. Work for free for on one of them. So one of those can be taken up. Anything else? Mr. Lindsay.
Well, when the visitor is present, I believe we have Sharon as Baker. Her name is Baker.
Oh, thank you for catching that. Yes.
Okay.
So Sharon Baker, not Sharon Banker. Thank you.
Maybe she'd like to be.
Maybe not.
Excellent. If there are no other changes, I will ask for a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes from March 18, 2026 as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you. Next is citizen comment. If there's anybody who would like to speak something that is not on the agenda for this evening, now is your opportunity.
Hello.
Mr. McGinnis, go ahead.
Yes, good evening. This is Kirk McGinnis. I just wanted to state for the record, I understand item 11 is a general VTrans compliance matter and not a site-specific determination of the Wyman Falls Road segment identified in my pending petition or of any claimed right-of-way affecting my property.
Thank you. Mr. Miles?
Randy Miles, Chester. I come to the board tonight because of a meeting that we had about paper of record. And there was no second public comment there, which I would have said something there. So I'm bringing it to you here. I have some big issues with things that were said about that.
Sorry, Randy, can you just clarify? I'm not sure I follow you.
The March 18th meeting,
Okay.
I issued a formal complaint, and I have some issues with the way the board acted on that night.
Okay.
And I'd like to bring this to all your attention.
Okay.
There was a lot of discussion about whether or not we should even be discussing that. There was words and sentences, board has no place in how a business is run. This is no discussion to even have had here, inappropriate, very disappointed going down this road. It came on the First Amendment was mentioned, and that's true. But when a paper doesn't print the truth, that needs to be looked at more carefully. That was a big, big deal there. The paper did not print what I asked to be printed, and they still haven't acknowledged the full statement that I wanted printed on each of the questions. That is disappointing and heartfelt to myself. Who do you go to as a board or a town when a business doesn't operate correctly or is being inappropriate? Do we have a president here? Do we have a mayor? We come to this board, don't we? I thought that's what we were doing that night. And we pushed that aside. More importantly, you pushed it aside for the paper and not me. You didn't even take 1 second chance at what was happening. You've had time to sleep on it, I believe, was also a comment posted out there. Did you look at the information I posted? The paper admitted it's their paper. They can do what they want. Isn't that bias? Do we want a biased paper representing us on that nature? There was no reading or no article of rules that you had to apply by that I saw in this when I gave my response. And that was my response that I went back and forth with the editor to. Back and forth. That's what I wanted, and I clearly told her, if you do not print that, you are putting words of your own in and not mine. And they chose to do that. They chose to do that. It was harmless of what I had asked for them to print, but they chose to do that. So I ask you, go back and read the file and the complaint and sleep on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Linda Dyack has her hand raised.
Linda Dyack?
Hi. I apologize. I had wanted to be there in person and cannot be. I also would like to address the behavior of Mr. Gustafson at the last board meeting. I was appalled at what I heard. It is one thing for Randy to request the board punish the Telegraph. Randy is a private citizen. He can ask what he wants. As a private citizen, his ask carries no weight and, more importantly, no threat. Like Randy, I am a private citizen, and my words carry no weight and no threat. I asked my husband, Tom, if he had any opposition to the following, and his only concern is the retaliation that could follow. I hope I am free to speak my mind without retaliation, as any other private citizen in Chester should be. His concern is warranted, however, as I've already been banned from the Chester, Vermont Facebook group by a man who lives in Ludlow, no less, for sharing an article that outlines how egregious Mr. Gustafson's actions were. Unlike Randy and myself, Mr. Gustafson is part of our government here in Chester. What he says carries weight and authority, and what he said would violate the First Amendment were he to follow through with adverse action against the Chester Telegraph. I do not think this is something that should be swept aside, particularly as Mr. Gustafson has yet to issue a public apology to Sean, to Cynthia, and indeed to the entire town. I do not think he belongs on our select board, in our governance, and certainly not in the position of chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes, Mr. Miles?
When I was directing what I was saying, that wasn't going to our chair, that was going to you. You had every business to discuss that in a proper way. Like I say, if a business does something wrong, this board talks about it. That's what our chair was trying to do, was talk about it, okay? There's no guilt on him. He opened the board for discussion, and you quickly pushed it aside and came at him. This has nothing to do with Lee, but you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
May I make a comment?
Sure, go ahead.
I think it's the policy of this board to not engage typically in responding to citizens' comments. That's all I have to say.
Anything else? All right. Thank you. And moving on, we're to old business. Julie, you want to take us through that?
Sure. So just a heads up, probably most people have seen it. We received word that work is commencing on the Thompson Jewett Road project. And Project is anticipated to take the full 2026 construction season, but is anticipated at this point to be completed this year. So that work is started. I don't think it's going to get, real heavy probably until end of April, beginning of May. Contractors that have been awarded by the state, remember this is a state project. Contractors awarded by the state, the road work will be Basin Brothers, and the bridge work will be Cold River Bridges. So we were very pleased that these are two contractors we have worked with for years, and have a lot of confidence in. So we were very pleased with that,
Yeah.
With that information.
And,
Scott, can you mute yourself? Thanks.
Thank you.
The box culvert projects, we have 4 large box culvert projects that are going to be going on this summer. Just letting everybody know that work is going to be beginning. They're going out to bid tomorrow. We'll be awarding probably end of April. Smoke Shear Road, that is a 406 mitigation, FEMA mitigation project. There's a large box on Christmas tree, again, 406 mitigation funds. Those are both 100% funded. And then we have 2 large structures grants, Cummings Road, Old Stage Road. So just kind of getting the word out there. There will be disruptions, but we will get the word out once we know when construction will begin on those roads. Depot Street Sidewalk. We are anticipating going out to bid on that project early May. We are going to be building in a 2-year construction season. The reason that we are going ahead to go out to bid this year is to get the rail work done. That easement, they had the audacity to put an end date on my easement that took me 9 years to get. But anyway, that rail work has to, I'm not bitter. That rail work is, that easement expires at the end of 2026. So we are going to bid it this year. We are putting in there that the rail work absolutely has to be done this year. The rest can go to 2027. And there's language in there about any sidewalk work that gets done this year has to coordinate with the sewer project that we have going on this year. So we'll be watching those very closely. I'm hoping they'll do the rail work this year, the sidewalk next year. But just be prepared. That's going to be going out to bid probably early May. I'll keep you posted. The generator grant, you may remember we were awarded $100,000 from FEMA about a year ago for the generator grant. Went out to bid, found out the prices had elevated, and the generator was now double the cost. We had submitted a modification request to FEMA that just got awarded the other day, along with an extension. We received another $120,000. And we have until the end of May 2027. So we reached out to Daniels. They had been awarded the bid last year. So they have the generator. That work will be starting at some point this summer as well. We did receive more money there. And I just found out that we received the Transportation Alternatives Grant. Peter will be very happy. The grant is $594,000 for additional sidewalk that starts here at Town Hall and goes towards North Street. That was the next worst section. Our match on that is $148,500. We will not have to address any of that until 2027. So we don't need to come up with those funds this year. We would likely bond the match as we do for all sidewalk and paving projects. But so that grant has been awarded. And then last, I submitted yesterday, the capital grants for libraries. The last round of those opened up. I submitted that yesterday, $353,000 with no match. So hoping that we'll get it. And that would be for the access, replacing the ramp on the front, which is in horrible condition and no longer compliant. Would be moving to the back with a new entryway so that it is directly connected to the actual handicap parking, which is in the back of the building, and would be an upgrade to the fire panel and elevator upgrade. So that one, hopefully we can get it. It's a no match grant. So that's it. That's it for all business.
No more new grants didn't last very long.
This one had no match. And Transportation Alternatives I applied for last year. That one doesn't count.
sidewalk money is really hard to get.
Everybody's hard to get, so it'll be nice. This, by the time we're done, from Barge Street all the way down to almost the Unitarian Church will be done by the time both of these are done. So that's a huge section.
Yeah.
Nice.
Huge section.
Very
It
walkable.
seems like so many of the projects that have been going on for all these years are all coming together all at once.
Yeah, we're gonna do them all in 2026, apparently.
Well, the price has doubled, so.
Yeah, but if we wait any longer.
No,
they'll
no.
double again.
Yeah. Any other old business to discuss at this point? Next on our agenda is request for permission to use a green by Sharon Baker. Sharon, if you want to just, you can sit there, stand there, but if you want to introduce yourself and tell us what.
Sit because my knee is still bothering me.
No, that's fine. Speak up just a little bit. This is pretty good at picking you up, but
First of all, thank you very much for the last time I was here 2 weeks ago. I'm thrilled that I'm going to have the opportunity to do something wonderful on the green on September 19th. I have to tell you, I've had probably 8 or 9 people either contact me through Facebook or come into the store directly saying, what can we do to help? And, you know, I mean, even Ann Henshaw said when she was here, my yard is your yard that day, whatever you want. And I think it's going to be a really good time. I think I have right now already 3 vendors. So, but it's primarily or specifically going to be for Vermont-made food producers, not just a bake sale or something like that. I'm trying to make it very specific. I've already had to say no to 3 people because they wanted to show up with crafts and jewelry. And I said, no. You can ask the people all around, but not on the green. Anyway, I'm here for primarily one reason, but I'd also wanted to let you know, I'm sure many of you know, that we've revived the townwide yard sale Memorial Day weekend, which is May 23, 24, and 25. It's going to be an effort to bring the whole community together to sell unused and extra items from their own yards. This will not be a cost to the town. It is currently being advertised on the various Facebook pages and events page. I'm also going to ask the Chester Telegraph and the Vermont Journal to run a press release for me. Kathy Goodell has taken point on this event, and so far I believe we have 11 that have already signed up to be on the map for their potential customers. So we're hoping we have at least 20 that actually sign up for the map. And the cost is $5 to be on the map, and it just has to do with the printing that we're having done at Newsbank. And then we're on to the 4th of July. So I'm here this evening to ask for permission to reserve the green for the 4th of July. I had a meeting with Julie on February 5th, and she encouraged me to come to the board with my idea. I've reached out to Carla Westeen at the Historical Society. She let me know that plans have been made to have a slideshow that day, a cemetery tour of the Revolutionary soldiers buried here, and also an ice cream social with a patriotic theme. Since this is the 250th anniversary of the birth of this nation, I believe it would be a great day for the whole town to celebrate. There are so many ways to showcase our love for this town, state, and country. As a point of history, we were not one of the first 13 colonies, but Vermont was the 14th state to join the Union. So I have a few suggestions, and this could be even bigger than this or maybe none of these. But anyway, we could have a townwide potluck picnic on the green. We could organize a parade with red, white, and blue theme. We could have a small brass band playing in the gazebo. We could get the schools involved, perhaps with artwork or even musically. And we could decorate all around the green with flags and patriotic balloons. It is so important for the children of this town to know and understand how we came to be. 50 years from now, they will be the ones celebrating 300 years of this nation. This would not be a day about making money. It would be a day to celebrate the freedoms we have in this country because of those who have sacrificed and even laid down their lives for us to continue to live in the most free country on the planet. If you grant my request, I'm asking for help and suggestions to plan this event. I'm hoping we can use the town hall for several future meetings to get the ball rolling. There are so many talented people in this town and the surrounding area, and I'm hopeful we can all take this moment in time to work together. People can come to see me at my shops on the green, Sharon's on the Common, and Chester Candy. I'm there most days. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. So do we need to vote to give permission, or what's the
I think it's,
procedure? at this
yeah,
point?
I think it's more of a town event. It's not an independent organization that's hosting an event. It's more of a town event. So I had Sharon come just to talk about, number one, to make it public, but to make sure that you guys are good with there being, not that I think you wouldn't be good with there being some kind of a 4th of July celebration on the green. I am happy to work with Sharon to, figure out what that looks like. And I have already heard from Carol Neff and the ladies from Chester Townscapes reached out. They want to do some decorating on the green for 4th of July, which I told them just to let us know cost and what that looks like. She thinks she's found somebody to fund it anyway. But so, I think there are people interested when the word gets out. I think there will be people interested. We could involve the American Legion and yeah. So I don't think we need your permission because it really would probably be under the auspices of the town
Right.
for a town event, but.
Okay. Well, Sharon, thank you very much for spearheading this and
Oh, well,
taking on the extra work.
it's a beginning.
Yes. Yeah. So I mentioned something to Julie a month or two ago about what are we doing as a town, and let's do something because this is a momentous occasion. And so I thank you for your part in this, and let us know how we can help.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of
Yeah.
wonderful, a lot of fun.
I think it's a great idea, and I appreciate the energy and the vision too, Sharon. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other comments?
Right.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next is our Housing Commission appointment. So you should have gotten 2 emails for people who are interested. Where did those go? Do I have those? Was that part of your No.
Got mine?
There are 2 emails in one document.
Yeah, the treatment is in one document. There should
Yeah.
say Housing Commission. Right.
Oh, there it is. I found it all by myself. Okay. So we have received letters of interest from Jerry UC and from Sophie Stone. And so I would open this up for if both are here. Jerry, I see you here in person. So since you're here, go ahead if you want to.
Sure.
Just give us an idea of who you are
Yeah.
and what your interest is.
Jerry UC. So for me, I've been involved in multifamily housing and been a landlord for almost 20 years. It's near and dear to my heart. I live it every day. Chester's super important to me, and finding housing for people in Chester, I think is super important. I'm actually working on multiple projects right now in town, renovating old properties, 200+ year old properties, and creating living spaces there. My wife and I just bought a property on Main Street. We closed on Friday. And we are going to make plans there's no barn on the back, to kind of renovate that and add 2 units, with a goal of offering those to people local to Chester, at an affordable, rent. And again, I'm working with a couple of other landlords in town right now to revamp and renovate spaces that they have to do the same. I've got a lot of experience, and I think being a contractor and being a property manager over the past 20 years gives me a kind of unique insight to what it takes to create the housing and what people who need the housing are actually looking for. So that's what I'm interested in doing.
Excellent. Thank you. Any questions from the board? So, Sophie, are you online?
Here.
Seeing her, and I just checked email to make sure that she did acknowledge tonight at 6:30. Acknowledged that a couple times with her. I did email her earlier today and I didn't get a response.
She's been a little elusive.
Correct.
Yeah, we don't have that much information.
No,
So, yeah.
I had asked for more. I'm not getting it. She responds to multiple emails and she did confirm that she would be on tonight. I told her 6:30, so. But I can't speak on her behalf. I don't know much about her, unfortunately.
So how would the board like to proceed?
Oh, I'd like to ask, Jerry, you want to tell us for a minute about, because you said you're dealing with Section 8. Do you have Section 8 units now?
I do, yes. Yep, I've got, I used to have more, here in southern Vermont. At one point in my lifespan of a property manager, we had 400 units under management, during COVID, there was a lot more voucher tenants. Actually, it was a lot, and we dealt pretty much day to day with that aspect of it because, a lot of people couldn't work and, there was a lot of funding to help with rent. And I actually was the one who dealt with the state, personally and with the voucher tenants and kind of overseeing all of that. So I have multiple sections.
Is it all right if I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's a wonderful experience to bring to the discussions the Housing Commission has. The only question I would have is if you're currently doing things that might be affected, either a benefit or a harm by decisions the Housing Commission makes. I'm sure you've had some thought about that.
Yes.
And just that's it's not a deal breaker,
Yeah.
but then you have to
Yeah,
be careful.
my intentions for being on this board are for the whole community.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to benefit myself in any way, shape, or form. I passionately work with lots of folks in town to create housing and
Just the in the same way that Peter and I attend
Yeah.
these meetings.
Yeah.
But we're not going to be voters because of the potential conflict of interest. It sounds like there might be some times where you might have to
Yeah.
participate,
Mhm.
but not vote.
Which is
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. That's all.
This might be an easier choice than I thought. Well, thanks for
Yeah.
stepping up
Yeah.
and putting your name in the hat. It's always good to see community members get involved, and we're always looking for that.
So can I ask for a motion?
I move to vote for the appointment to the vacant seat of the Housing Commission.
Of.
Jerry, are you saying Jerry Usey?
Yes. Sorry for Jerry.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll
Name?
second it.
My
So,
apologies.
Tim has made the motion. Arnie seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate your willingness to do
It's a
this.
great group.
I know. I'm excited. Thanks. I appreciate it.
I'll get you connected to the group.
Next is requesting funds from the Housing Reserve Fund.
So the Housing Commission is requesting, we've decided to do this in one request this year to make it easier. Housing Reserve Fund has about $24,000 in it. We are asking for $11,300 for the purposes of completing 2 market studies and an appraisal. Market study one, and we're lumping them together. We're getting a better price. We're saving a few thousand by lumping the projects together using the same company. Before we can move much further with developers that would be utilizing any type of federal or state funding sources, they are requiring a market study. And the market study basically speaks to demand. If they build the units, will people come, type of thing. So we are asking for a market study on, of course, the large parcel that abuts the high school. We are asking for a market study on Canal Street. There has been a lot of discussion about potential of senior housing development there. Hasn't gone much farther, but the market study will be needed. It seems like the next best parcel. And then an appraisal, and I do have permission to say this out loud from the landowner. The Housing Commission has been looking at the Dennis Allard property, which is right across from the Family Center. It's kind of down across from the Family Center as a parcel. It is a parcel that Wyndham Windsor Housing Trust has looked at with potential interest to do something there. We have not heard back from them. But again, before we can even move forward with anything, we have to have an appraisal. We need to know the value of the property. So for relatively inexpensive money, Martin was willing to do the appraisal on the property as well. So the Housing Commission is asking for $11,300 from the reserve fund to complete this work. This is what's needed to move much forward, so.
Why do they call it a market study? It sounds more like a feasibility study. Market
yeah.
sounds like, are people looking for places to live? And that's
Correct.
pretty obvious.
So when the developers that have anything to do with federal funding, from the conversations that Preston and Hugh and I have had with the state and with the Vermont Housing Conservation Board, the market study, they don't use the state's data on housing demand. You need to have a site-specific independent study to show that if you build 60 units here, that there is a regional demand to fill those 60 units before federal dollars can be used on those projects.
So it's specific to each
It's site
site.
specific.
Whatever one you pick.
It's site
another
specific.
one, another.
But it also gives us the information, because if 60 units will fill up on one parcel, well, then 30 would fill somewhere around town, right? So it's still good data for us, but they are site specific. The other thing that I forgot to mention is once the work is done, we can apply to VHCB for 50% reimbursement. It's a little backwards of most grants, but when the work is done, we can potentially get 50% back.
On the market study?
On the 2 market studies. Yeah.
Interesting. They're all Martins. Is the father and sons, or?
It's same company.
Yeah, no, but look at all the resumes.
Oh, yeah.
The last name of everybody.
I think it is
Martin.
I think it's a family business. Yeah, I think it's a family business. And they are known throughout the state. Many municipalities use them. We had reached out to do our due diligence. Preston, I should say, reached out to 3 or 4 companies. Many of them were, next year, or the end of the year. Martin, because we were lumping, said, we'll fit you in. And we had some connections with them. They've done work for the town before in past years. So,
Do you and Preston feel like these are appropriate rates?
yes, we were very pleased. And when Preston went back and said, hey, we're eventually going to need this one and this one. And, can we get a break if we lump them together? And they knocked a few thousand off. Right. So. We figured we'll take advantage now, come to the board once, and we know we're going to need them.
It's a necessary first step. I mean,
We can't do much else until we have that market study. We keep getting hit with that every turn. We have to have that.
Which it goes back to that 1% tax that we were looking at. It would help to fund these types of things
Correct.
that are going to be necessary in the future. Hopefully we can keep up with the money and the finances through the few sources that we have. But
I would need a motion to approve withdrawal of this.
So any further discussion, or I'll entertain a motion?
So moved.
So Lauren has made the motion to approve the expenditure of $11,300 from the Housing Reserve Fund. Tim has seconded that. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Excellent, thank you.
Thank you very much. We are appreciative.
Next is the Economic Development Committee mission statement revision. So you should have gotten a copy of the change, and the actual wording change is in italics. So I'll read it. The mission of the Chester Economic Development Commission, CEDC, is to promote a strong local economy that emphasizes tourism, agriculture, forestry, businesses that provide goods and services, and compatible light industry and manufacturing, while increasing the tax base and building local capacity.
The addition would be while increasing the tax base and building local capacity. The CEDC has met a couple times now, and through discussions, they felt strongly like they would like to add that to the mission statement. We're not just about, they wanted to draw attention to the fact that it is not just about bringing business, but the purpose is all kinds of things that can increase our tax base. It's not just about the business, it's also about growing our grand list, and building capacity, meaning housing capacity for new business, capacity for future growth, was kind of Preston's intention.
so that's what the building local capacity.
That's the building local capacity, yeah.
Well, it's more
Housing
than
and,
housing.
it's housing and capacity for business
Infrastructure or whatever
infrastructure.
might happen
Correct.
to make all the rest happen.
Correct.
Okay.
So it's a very broad statement, but they felt, after their discussions, felt it was important to add the grand list component, because that is a very important part of all of this.
Yeah, I went to the board capacity as well, capacity for what?
Yeah.
And I guess from the sounds, it would be a little too wordy to list all of that.
Well, yeah. So I think Preston was just kind of keeping that language
Yeah.
very broad.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So it's a relatively benign change, but to the CEDC, they felt it was an important
I
addition.
think this is valuable, interesting, valuable add.
So you would need to move, there would need to be a motion because it would change the bylaw that you have adopted. It would change that mission statement within that bylaw.
So
I'll make a
entertain
motion.
Arnie's made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Peter's the second. Any further discussion?
It's good to see all these things coming into place, all with the same
It
thing.
really is.
Very excited about this committee. They know it too.
So all in favor of adding the following part of a sentence while increasing the tax base and building local capacity to the mission of the Chester Economic Development Commission is to promote a strong local economy that emphasizes tourism, agriculture, forestry, businesses that provide goods and services, and compatible light industry and manufacturing. Here's the added part, while increasing the tax base and building local capacity, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is our town clerk appointment. And I believe that Amy Record is requesting to continue as our town clerk. Amy, do you want to say something, or do you want your boss to speak for you? Which is us.
I was gonna say, I am not.
I want to put you on the spot or not?
I think that last year's gone well.
We agree. I agree.
Thank
I don't want to speak for everybody else.
The main thing for me is learning about the elections and the deadlines and sort of all that stuff is kind of the new part for me, but, and you don't really realize what goes along with the job until you start training somebody. So training Samantha it's been going well, and she's doing a great job as well. So, thank you for the opportunity.
If you recall, Debbie retired last year. You appointed Amy for a one-year term last year to give her an opportunity to make sure it's exactly what she wanted. Typically for towns that have elected town clerks, it's a 3-year term. So we are asking for a 3-year appointment.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
I'm just glad that you're willing to commit to 3 more years.
She didn't have a choice.
Amy, when you go forward with this, are there more educational things that you take as you go along? Do you have to get recertified? How does all that work?
The notary, you have to take training and recertify every 2 years. Samantha and I are going to a training on Tuesday in Rutland. It's a new clerk's training. So they do some elections, they do some land records, and they split it up. So there are certain things that we will continue to learn together. There's the training in September that we can go to. That's Vermont based. There's also one in November that's New England based, that are all the New England states. So there are opportunities to learn.
And Amy did the NEMC certification. So Amy is a certified town clerk. In the state of Vermont, you do not have to be. But Amy did do those trainings. It was 3 years. And is a certified Vermont town clerk. So yeah.
You can also become nationally certified, but I haven't made it yet to enough trainings and have enough certificates to become that yet, but I am working towards that.
Then you move out of town, then you move out of.
Yeah, you're gonna say, I don't know if I like this.
I don't know that her husband would actually.
Yeah, I think we're stuck here for 3 years.
Forget about the nationals.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Amy. I'll entertain a motion to appoint Amy Record as town clerk for a 3-year. Oh, do we have to?
You have to sign. You gotta make the motion.
Okay, so I make the motion to appoint Amy Record as town clerk for the next 3 years.
So moved.
Tim is the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Lauren's a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Very important, Sean.
I'm curious about it very much.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Next is adopting the annual local emergency management plan. Should have gotten a document that lays out all the people and their responsibilities for the local emergency management plan.
Yes.
We just signing this? We don't. need a
You
motion?
will need a motion. No, you do need a motion. You need a motion to appoint you to sign as chair. For
Okay.
those who maybe are new to our board, this
Yes.
this is a local emergency management plan, which I just like to remind people that may not know because it is municipal. In order to receive FEMA funds at various levels, we have to have a local emergency management plan. And so there's not much that's changed from this, but this is just one of our standard annual forms. But I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Do you all go, all of the people on here, do you go through some specific training around
do.
emergency?
We do.
I asked mostly because years ago, I had to go through all of FEMA's training for all of
All
this.
the
I
ICS.
remember what fun that was.
Yes, all the ICS.
So I wondered whether you were doing that on a regular basis.
We are, and actually this year we're beefing it up a little bit because, so number one, it's a good opportunity to say, remember we had talked in the past about concerns about after what happened in Ohio with potential train derailment. So we had been working with some state partners to maybe get a mock-up training of a train derailment here. So what we have been invited to, I'm going with the chiefs and several staff are going up to Waterbury. The state is doing a train derailment training for themselves with all of the state partners. And Chester has been invited to participate in that. So we'll be going up to Waterbury. It's a tabletop exercise. I'm told that they're fabulous too. So we're all going up and
Will it be model train?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
What scale? That's
That's right. The other thing that we are going to do this year, however, is because, and we have not done this actually in a number of years, we are going to do a tabletop here in Chester with everybody that's on this list. So select board members will be invited, and we've done it with municipal staff. We do every year with the chiefs so that we all know what we're supposed to do. But we've never done it full scale so that you guys know what your role is if we have a major disaster, which we have had, that this has been put into place. So it just kind of fine tunes, let everybody know exactly what their role is, and because roles shift when we're in a disaster event. So there will be more of that this year, Lauren.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You know, it talks about the shelter of the American Legion.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't the high school, or wasn't there an alternate shelter at one time?
So one of the things that we are working on and have identified, so one of the things unique to Chester, and part of our tabletop is going to be talking about this, one of the things that's a little bit different to Chester, and we really noticed it during the July event, was we have the Legion as our shelter, our primary shelter, but the Legion gets cut off from town. And you can't really go out Route 11 West, it gets cut off from town because it crosses there. So one of the things that we're working to identify is warming shelters throughout. So town hall, obviously. In the library grant that we did was $20,000 to do the electrical to wire a generator, portable generator. We have portable generators. The library could be a warming shelter. Elementary school floods, so we can't be there. So we're trying to identify academy building, perfect location. Now that that heating system is being put in, it can be used year round. It can be another warming shelter location. We need to have those shelters be the center of town, but we also need to have them at the American Legion for anybody south of town. It's a place for them to go. We also need to identify one west and one north because we get cut off.
Does it need to be municipal or school-owned property to
It's-
qualify?
It's easier if it is municipal owned property. Makes it easier. For now, anybody north would go to Ludlow. Anybody east goes to Springfield.
Route 11 West is a challenge, though.
Route 11 West is a challenge, so it is something we need to identify. Yeah, so that is a bit of what we're going to be talking about. The chiefs I know have been putting a lot of thought into that, and what that looks like, because it is something we really notice. I mean, people get cut off. Our village gets cut off.
The island in Irene.
Correct, and it was in the July storms.
Right. Yeah, because it's funny, you say go to Cavendish and, go to Ludlow, you're never gonna get through Cavendish.
Good
You
point.
know?
Very good point. Absolutely.
Right.
So working on how can we identify where those warming shelters and where those places could be. Yeah, that's a big task that they're working on now.
My mind immediately went to the old armory, but that's all privately owned
It's all
now.
privately owned now. And it's not that privately owned can't be, it's just more complex. Because there's liabilities that they're assuming and what are those relationships, and there have to be certain contracts and that kind of
Well,
stuff.
the American Legion is privately owned.
It's a privately owned, but they have gone through the process of being named a warming shelter. Whereas a personal residence may not be so willing to do that.
For a business.
Correct. But there's ways. I mean, there are municipalities that have businesses, so. Yep.
So I will, entertain a motion to appoint the chair of the select board to attest to the local emergency management plan.
So moved.
Arnie's made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll
Yeah,
second.
second.
Tim has made the second. Any further discussion?
That was actually Peter.
Oh, okay.
Our voices
I thought I heard
concerned.
both.
Yep.
Okay, so Peter's made the second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you.
Mhm.
That's me.
Yeah.
Next on the agenda is adopt the annual highway financial plan. So you should have gotten a document.
Can you study this a little bit, Julia?
Yep, it's
a
another-
bunch of numbers without any explanation.
Correct. This is another annual form, just gets filled out every year. Basically what this document is this is our highway budget broken down. We have to certify to the state each year that the budget you are giving or the budget that you're passing and the money that we're expending from a highway department is at least the amount of the state aid that we receive. And so this is what has to certify that. This is your class 1, 2, 3. That is your road mileage. And that is the amount that we receive from the state for those three things, correct? The rest is then broken down. I have to break down winter maintenance and non-winter maintenance of our actual budget and any major projects where we are receiving any kind of state or federal
That
funding.
part made sense to me.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it is. That's why we have to do it. And then, so you certify that. And then the other thing is every 5 years, VTrans reviews their road and bridge standards. And then of course they make a town, sign a document that states that your road and bridge standards at least meet ours. Ours do. So for us, it's just a formality. There are not a tremendous amount of changes. Kirby's been through this thoroughly. And we are still actually stricter than VTrans on a few things. So this is just one of those paperwork things we have to do.
So do we need motions on these or we just sign?
No, I think you can just sign these. I don't believe that. One is a certification, so maybe you do need motions. I would say do a motion. Never hurts.
So I will entertain a motion that we approve the annual financial plan for town highways.
And certificate from Collins. And certificate.
Okay, certificate. Is that all we're voting on?
You're doing, under this agenda item, it's these two documents. They go together. Those two documents go together.
Okay.
And then everyone is separate.
Let me read the certificate of compliance for town road and bridge standards and network inventory. We, the legislative body of the municipality of Chester, certify that we have reviewed, understand, and comply with the town road and bridge standards / Public Works specifications and standards passed and adopted by the Select Board on February 4th, 2014. We further certify that our adopted standards meet or exceed the minimum requirements included in the June 5, 2019 state-approved template. We further certify that we do have an up-to-date highway network inventory which identifies location, size, deficiency / condition of roads, bridges, causeways, culverts, and highway-related retaining walls on class 1, 2, and 3 town highways, and estimated costs of repair. So that's the motion or the certification. I'll entertain a motion to accept that.
So moved.
So Tim has made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Arnie's made the second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. So we're just signing.
There's two.
Yeah.
Good night, there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Who's signature location? Do we want to sign this one?
Yeah.
Or is this a?
This is another document, but that goes in that. No, connect it, but I have to do.
Right.
Very redundant. That certificate and these are just so redundant.
Okay.
Every 5 years you have to. That's why it
So
feels.
we
good.
need to just sign it or make a motion?
I would make a motion of Jackson. It's standard for the.
I'm not reading the whole thing.
You don't need to. It's a public document. It's been, you don't usually.
Right.
I'm not saying you
Yeah,
should read
down
all of
here.
this.
14 pages or
You
whatever.
do.
All right, get your no-dos out.
Thank you.
Interesting to see the names on here from February of 2014. Yeah, that was the Graybeards group, as I recall.
Great.
Okay, I started growing a beard.
That's funny.
Excellent. Now, I'll entertain a motion to certify the town road and bridge standards dated January 21, 2026 for the municipality of Chester. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Lauren's made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ronnie's a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Is that it?
Fast meeting.
Yeah.
It's a fast meeting.
No problem.
Extremely efficient.
Not yet. We're not done.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is new business and the next agenda.
So your next agenda is Jim Carroll. That'll be pretty much the agenda. Jim will be coming. You guys had requested to do, well, we do this every, I think we did this 5 or 6 years ago too. Every few years, Jim come and just kind of talk about, roles of the select board, roles of the town manager, just reminding us all of our, that we're all doing our job. And so he'll be coming for that. And there will also be the executive session with him. about a couple of legal matters that we've been talking. It's the yoga people upstairs. New business, I do have one thing, just, we have reached out to the high school. I talked to you about the artwork on the green, but we've also reached out. We have a nice long hallway here with blank walls. And so the high school are going to start displaying some of their artwork here. They're going to rotate it around and it'll be great. So that's coming up as well. That's it.
So, one thing that came up at our last meeting was, we were talking about the school board appointees, and Lauren, you said a couple of times that we ought to come up with some kind of policy for that. So
A
I just.
procedure.
A procedure.
Yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out so that we can add it to an agenda at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe the next 6 years, months or so.
Yeah, we don't have, I was thinking about that when you made that statement. We don't really have a lot of written procedures. We're very lax on that. And that's one thing that we're working about internally with staff. So I think there's a few things that we could do for writing up procedures on a few different things that you face on occasion. So yeah, we'll look at those.
I don't know whether this is a distinction anybody else wants to draw, but I always drew the distinction between a formal policy and a kind of recommended procedure. And the thing with the procedure is, you can decide at any moment to tear that up and throw it over
And
your
throw it
shoulder.
away and
So it's
exactly.
different. But I just think it would
It's nice
be
to have a guideline.
It is.
a benefit so that this is how we usually do it
Correct.
instead of, well, here it is again. What did we do
What did
last
we do
time?
last- Exactly. And there's a few of those things that the board, so when you had said that, my mind started working on a few different things that you often, or not often, that's the issue.
So is use of town property on the radar too?
That's a policy. Yes, Jim has my first go round. So he's reviewing. So yes, like I had said, the last meeting, I think it's really important that hit legal first, before it comes to you guys. So, it is, yes, but it is, Jim is reviewing. Yeah.
So we'll add looking at those procedures to a agenda at some point.
Yes, in the future. Yeah, absolutely.
And Jim's going to be discussing the class 4 road issues with us too.
Jim will be discussing the legal matters with you in executive session, on the 15th.
But will it be a time for us to ask him questions also about questions that we might have regarding class 4 roads and procedures or
So the
options?
conversation with Jim on the 15th is executive session about the legal matters and how all of that ties together. So on the executive session material side of it, yes, you will have opportunity because he will be here in person.
Excellent. Anything else for next business, new agenda? Yes, John?
I just wondered if the board training is open to the public.
Yes. Yeah, there's no reason for it to be.
Thank you.
All right, at this point, I will entertain a motion to enter executive session pursuant to 1 BSA subsection 313(3) relative to evaluation of a public officer or employee. So moved.
Are we inviting Julian?
Yes.
Yes.
And inviting Julian, thank
There you
you.
go.
So moving.
Since you don't have the details, you might want to.
Looking at him, say, what are we doing?
So,
I got no clue.
Tim has made the motion. Do I have a second?
After you, no.
So Peter and Lauren have seconded it. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Thank you all for attending.
Good night, everybody.